Hello, today I'm going to show you on how to create HTML table using a notepad. So what you do, you open notepad and I have a template of a table that we shall be using. So we shall create a table that has an heading, examples of creating tables in HTML. So you have a Kenya Sports Association as the heading of the table. So in this case we shall start our normal tag HTML, then we have the heading tag, and in the heading tag we shall have the title, and the title will be HTML table. So we close our title and we close our heading. So we start the body. Inside the body, as you can see, we have the heading or the title of our case. In this case would be example of creating tables in HTML. In this case I hope to use the keyword heading, the heading 3, because if we use heading 1 to be very vague, so heading 3 will be at least a good one, and we underline that. So we write example of HT table. So we close the outline and we close the heading 3. And we start our table tag. Table. Inside the table, inside this table you can create what we call attributes. One of the attributes is a border, the border attributes. Border, let's give it 1. We can also use the cell padding, you give it cell padding, let's give it 5, and also cell spacing. Cell spacing, you also give it 5. The difference between cell spacing and cell padding. Cell spacing, we say cell spacing is an attribute that defines the space between the table cells, while the cell padding represents the distance between the cell border and the content within the table. So this spacing can this spacing, that spacing. So using this template of ours, can be able to differentiate cell spacing and cell padding. Cell padding is the distance between the table border and the content, between the border and where the T starts. That is what we call the cell padding, while cell spacing is the space between table cells. This is a cell, the cell with the team, and the cell with date. These are cells. So the difference between the two is what we call the cell spacing. So having done the attributes, you can start with the top part of our table, Kenya Sports Association. In this case, we can use a table caption, but the table caption will include that as a title above the table. So to include this title inside the table, we shall use a table row. We shall call it a row. Then inside that row, we create table head, the table heading, and in this case we give it an attribute, and we shall use the column span, call span, to be equal to 4, column span to be equal to 4. When you look at our table, you see that the first row, let's say it's like merged. We have merged it into 4 columns. That is why we call it a column span to be equal to 4, the column span to be equal to 4. Then we write the name of that Kenya football Association. So we close that table head. We close that table head. It's a closing tag. Then we close that table row. We start a new table row, and in this table row we shall have table head. It's an heading tag. So in the table heading we have the heading team, date, venue, and remarks. So we have 4 headings. So you have a team, then you close that table heading. So to avoid the repetitive typing, I can copy this and then paste. I have just to change this. Second one is a date, use capitals. Then I can paste the same. This is venue. Then I can paste again. This is remarks. Having done with the first row, we close that table row. Close that table row. Then we start another table row. And inside the table row now, instead of using where we have the Sofapaka etc., instead of using an heading, in this case we use a table data. We use a table data. We have Sofapaka. So we close that table data. We open another table data. So the same way, instead of continuous typing, I can copy this and rename this to be the first day of the second month. That is 2020. And we close that table data. You can still paste again. And this the venue is Kitui. And then can paste again. This it's good luck. So when you look at good luck, it spans for 2 rows, so I can use a column that is a row span. Table data is an attribute, so you have a row span, to be equal to 2 for 2 rows. Then I close that. I close that table row. Then I can start the other row. So instead of doing all that, I can copy this, then I paste. So in this case, you have a goal, the date remains, the venue being Motomo. Now in this case, I will not require this. All this I will not require it because it is from the other row, or the other, that is the row above. Then I can paste again, this being KCB, the date remains, venue, this case is Mwingi. We shall not require the span in this case. So having done that, I will start with I can still paste to avoid unnecessary typing. So table data, in this case, this will be, let's say, others, and we only have 2 columns in that row. So I change this data. In this case, this is later. And this will span, call span, to be equal to 3, to span for 3 columns. Then we add our table, we close our that is our body, and then you can also close our HTML. Then it's always good to preview your work so that you may see where you have gone wrong. And the other way you can do it, you can save this, and then it will be able to give you the mistakes that you have done. So I save it as a desktop, I save it as table.html, save it as table.html. So when I open my document, that is how it will open. And I think when you look at our document that is typed using Microsoft Word and our document that we have done using HTML, they resemble. So meaning that we have created something that we have created whatever is in Microsoft Word, we have done it using tags, that is HTML tags, and we have created a web page known as a table. So I'm grateful for your time and also listening to my video. Please, it's good to subscribe to my channel and continue enjoying your lesson. Thank you.